All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to our character deep dive session. So I'm Nicole, and I have my lovely co-host, Stacy Gianna Lusalia. And I'm going to share these documents with you real quick. Most of y'all may have them. This one's new. So this is pretty much what we will be playing with today. Co-host, I am going to close out the chat so I don't get distracted after I share this next document. In this list is this character and world building template ideas, which is this one. And I'm just going to go ahead and share this link too, but it is there. Just in case somebody wants the separate link for any reason. So go through this. Some of these I got from Plotter, like the D&D templates. Some of them I came up with. We have Brittany Wang's here. But essentially, they're just something to get you started inside Sudowrite. So there's stuff for characters, world building. I worked with ChatGPT and tried to get some genre ideas for your world building templates. So look around with those and see if they help you with anything. All right, can you hear me? My mic's giving me issues.
I hear you perfectly well.
Thank you. All right, so let's look at our character stuff. How many of you were in Stacy's class just like an hour ago? Press a 1 or raise your hand, do something. Actually, I can't see hands. Okay, you're
I
going
was.
I hope so. Otherwise, you may, I don't know, want to check some things. All
I didn't see
We've
you
got
there, Stacy.
me, ones, and hand reasons.
right, so y'all are going to hear a lot of repeated stuff, okay? I apologize, but maybe there's
Amy,
somebody that wasn't there.
we have one that wasn't. Oh, we have two that weren't. Good job.
All right.
No,
Um,
not bad. Be quiet. Shh.
right. So I do apologize for any overlap, but hey, that's the way it goes. And I already forgot what my second question was. Crap. Oh, is there anybody that is new to Sudowrite? Like maybe this is your first month. I didn't think I saw any new names. Okay. You're so full of it, Stacy. Okay, so forgive me if I do repeat some stuff as a beginner. Oh, wow, 8 days. Okay. Just forgive me if I do repeat beginner stuff. I just want to make sure everything's clear. As always, I love my class to be interactive. So feel free to speak up, ask questions, throw out an idea, because we are going to be playing heavily with customizing character templates to kind of see all you can do. That's kind of the main focus I wanted for this class. Just what can you do with the character templates? And we will be doing the same with the world building templates. I think it's next Saturday. All right. Closing out chat now, co-host. So let me know if I need to cover anything. All right, as we said in the last class, your characters get generated from synopsis. If there's nothing in synopsis like this one, it's going to pull from brain dump. So I just have a super short premise here. I don't really have anything in my head about this story. So what we're going to do is look at our templates, see how to adjust it for this story first, and then we'll create some. But something I want y'all to play with, something I like to do. If I do have an idea for my characters, I know how they're going to look. I kind of know how they speak, all of those things. What I like to do before I generate my cast, because I do like to generate the cast all at once, what I do is I do not have my story information here. Instead, I will put just brief character stuff. I would put more than that. I'm going to put what color their hair is. Maybe a haircut style or certain hairstyle if I had that in mind. But that's pretty much it. I keep it very simple with just a few lines of character descriptions. I like to generate my cast from things like that. What I found and what I'm hoping will be demonstrated when we do this, because we are going to demonstrate the cast with story information first. And then I would like y'all to kind of note how things can change up with doing that character description instead. So as of right now, it will be looking at brain dump, which is nothing specific, just a guild of misfits. I don't even know how many characters we're going to end up with, but this is supposed to be kind of a young adultish magical academy feel good story. So let's look at customizing first. As Stacy showed, you can change these up to be whatever you want. The things to keep in mind, and I did link this character and world building template sessions here. This goes into a lot of detail, y'all. So if you're kind of new to the cards, you still aren't quite sure on the certain things, this may be the one that you want to read over. Talks about customizing them, different things you can do, and it actually has the videos from those sessions when things were released. So there's some changes, but because this was at release and they've made a few updates. And then I also have ideas here for you. So definitely check out that other template that is linked here. So with these, something I want y'all to keep in mind is these prompts act as instructions to the AI. And you could put, I always forget how many it is. I think 300 characters, but it is in that other document that I linked to. Tells you exactly how much you can put in here. It can hold a good bit for instructions. So, trying to think, maybe for love interest, maybe I just don't want to leave it generic like that. Maybe I want to say also include X and why they broke up. So the AI can generate, maybe that'll play in, especially if I'm doing a romance and want the X to pop up. So definitely play around with these. Excuse me, play around with these and find the phrasing that works really well for you. I know Stacy has, so I have mine generate a unique and subtle habit, quirk, or mannerism. Stacy played with this at first and she found better wording for hers. Stacy, you want to go over that? And like what the difference was?
Yes. So mine is now unique tactile habit or quirk, which really is mostly just Nicole's, but condensed down. So having it as subtle was bringing in more of the like hair twirling or lip biting for me. And I wanted more of an overt habit or quirk, like I use this one a lot, but that's because it's one of my favorite characters. But dancing to a song only they can hear. I wanted something more, kind of in your face like that.
And I will also say, as we play, well, let me cover that just in case I forget. Sorry for going around in circles, y'all. I should have took another cup of coffee. I do find all of these actually, but I noticed this one especially seems to become more unique if I'm doing the generate character single and I'm telling it something about that character. My best example is I was generating a best friend. I didn't have an idea of who that would be for that character in the story for the guy. I just knew I wanted him also associated with the mob. So in these instructions, I put, hey, generate a best friend for Evan, make him something along the lines of have a darker personality or more sadistic streak, something along those lines. And I love the things that it came out with in that character trait. So if you can, use these fields as much as possible. So if you do like to generate single characters because you have that idea in your head, I would recommend doing that. In this instance, again, I do not know how I want these characters, so I'm just going to generate this entire cast to get an idea of things. And because I know y'all asked in Stacy's, just in case, if y'all want what I have, On the first page, this Nicole's preferred traits. I do believe this is up to date. Oh, no, I didn't up to date. I think I got this from you, huh, Stacy? Okay. Yeah. So this should be, though, everything I have in mind. Are there any questions so far, like about trait names, things like that?
Not so far, unless somebody asks a new one.
Okay.
I have one.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Um, so I like writing a cast that is multicultural. Do you put that in the brain dump, or do you wait until it generates and then you go back and change which ones? Well, that to me that's time consuming. I like my cast to be like the Starship, Enterprise. The
Okay.
from
Have you
different.
have you tried instructing? I don't know if you use synopsis or brain dump, but have you tried instructing such as
While you're typing, I will say I write a lot of, again, sci-fi, which is, with aliens with vastly different cultures. And I've had really, really good success um, making an alternate brain dump, if you will, in a doc that I usually have titled Story Bible, and putting out like roughing in character bios with their cultural details included. And then you can put that in the generate character instruction box. It holds so much. I think it can hold like 1,000, 2,000 words. And from there, the card is generated beautifully.
Okay, you got to go. You got to say that one more time.
All right. So I do character bios in a doc that, like I put all of my um, character bios, world building stuff. I'll keep those in a doc in the project.
oh, in a project? Oops.
Sorry, just to have them. Again, keeping your boxes concise is super important. So but I still like to have, the big chunky versions that are like paragraphs long. But having that and starting with the character bio with that cultural information, and then putting that into the generate character button, the box that pops up. Yeah, that little box, it looks tiny, but it holds like 1,000, 2,000 words. If you paste in an individual character's bio or like kind of breakdown sheet, if you will, the card generates beautifully, in my experience.
Yeah.
And it does pay attention to cultural details.
But if I didn't have any idea of how I wanted those, I would just put something like this. And I'm thinking there's some more wording you could actually put here, like emphasize or make sure characters are different in some kind of way, something more specific other than just this general line. But this is how I would start if I didn't have a clue how I wanted the characters and wanted the AI to give me some ideas with that prompt and synopsis or brain dump. Okay. For Zed's question, how do you handle deceased characters? So the first thing I would ask, I understand it's part of your main character's growth, but does the AI need to know any details about that sister, the deceased sister, such as hair color, anything like that? If the AI needs to know several details about that character, I would make that character card and also let it know deceased. I would actually put deceased in a few boxes, maybe even all of the boxes, just so, maybe you have deceased in this box, but hey, it's not looking at that box. Instead, it's going to physical description. So I would probably actually put in parentheses deceased in every trait box that I would have for that character. If the AI really doesn't need to know a lot about that character, all it needs to know is that person's name and that they died 8 years ago in a car accident, I would put that information in a trait box in your main character's card. What about you, Stacy?
So I actually have two deceased characters in my current work in progress. And having them as, so where it says full physical description or whatever like that, I have it as Fargo, comma, now dead is, and then your description. And then bringing back in the key details trait field that I keep at the bottom, which those of you in the class that I just taught heard about that. I have Fargo is now dead, killed at the hands of Ruin. And that has worked really, really well.
You said something that made me think of something, and then that quick, I forgot it.
ADHD is so hard.
All right, so this is our first character it generated. And again, since I don't have anything in synopsis, it's looking at my brain dump, which is my story information. Now, remember, I told y'all I don't like to generate my cast with story information. This is why. He's constantly battling his own self-doubt while trying to keep a brave face for his guild. The Guild of Misfits hasn't been formed yet. I would need to delete that, reword it. Apprentice magician and accidental leader of the Guild of Misfits. Again, hasn't been formed yet, so he can't be a leader of it. That's the trouble I find with all of with pulling while story information is there. It's revealing things too early, much too early. And then a lot of times I find, compared to just generating from a character description in my synopsis versus story information, when it's generating from story information, I find a lot of the AI cliches that I hate. Let's see. Unyielding determination. I would never leave that. Well, what if your character is determined? Great. Guess what? When it comes time for me to write that chapter where they're really determined to beat the antagonist, I am going to say, so-and-so is determined to beat them, no matter what the cost, even if they die trying. That's when I would say it. I would never leave wording I do not like in the character box. As Stacy said in her last class, change it. If you don't like it here, you're not going to like it in your prose. And there's like a 99% chance it's going to get brought into your prose. So get rid of all of those phrases that you do not like. Protect his friends at all costs. Again, I know this applies to the Guild of Misfits. Hasn't been formed yet. I do like some of these traits a lot, though. Where was it? One like his robes are often singed or patched up from failed spells. That fits this story perfectly. That does great. Okay. This is part of the story premise. But now it's going to make it that character's special ability. No, I don't want that to happen. So while I do like some of this, I actually like a lot of the traits that it brought out in that person. I want to see how it's going to change based on what we change up. And then after this quick demonstration, I want us to spend the rest of the hour kind of customizing cards and playing with all the possibilities there. So stealth expert of the group, again, what group? It has not been formed yet. Sample lines of dialogues are pretty good though this time. So you know what? I am actually going to, I'm not sure how many it created. I'm going to delete these so it stays in my trash because I'm liking some of them. Wow.
Just as a side note for those that are new, when you delete things, they do stay in your trash until you empty the trash itself. Yeah, right there.
So I
Until
can,
you empty the trash itself, they do live there.
so I can restore a lark right here. I like that. The walking disaster. I didn't notice that. Oh, Oh, can I not delete it again though? But he's the one I really liked. Go back. You see. Okay, so it didn't actually restore it. There we go. That's right. I got to click here to restore it. So that was just browsing. Okay. My bad. Sorry. Learn with the teacher here. So I can browse it. And then if I want to restore it, restore here. And if I really just want to permanently delete empty trash, if you do that, they cannot recover anything. So I usually just let stuff sit there. All right, so let's go back to characters. I still don't know how much or what I want for sure, but I did like the name Alaric. Let's go with that. I actually thought about the misfit, the main one being a female, but we'll go with that. Scrawny teacher, give me some ideas for character descriptions, y'all. Don't make me think of these all by myself because there's like a whole bunch of characters we have to do.
What kind of characters do you want?
I
Human?
don't care at this point. Oh yeah, yeah, they're gonna be all human.
Um, okay. Reddish brown hair.
Or Aloric or a different one.
I don't know. You
Okay.
just said give you descriptions. I'm doing my
Okay.
job. Reddish brown hair, with a side part, and she wears glasses, and she's got super pretty brown eyes, and she's 5'4", and this isn't spicy. Her backside is on point. That's key.
That's a really good character description. Wow.
Okay.
Cute booty.
Well, you know what? We're gonna make her an intelligent one.
Sorry, yes, that was implied. She is super smart and quick-witted. Also, I will say, while we're on this topic, and Nicole probably already said this, but adding in a personality trait, even one personality trait, grumpy, bubbly, sadistic, enthusiastic, shy, it makes a huge difference in how well the card for that character is generated.
That my wording is not there. Let's see if that actually works to make sure everyone's human. All right, so we need some more. Let's do
Pixie, okay, a gruff. Okay.
So you all are trying to drill down on certain character traits, but I'm wondering why not let Sudowrite generate the characters and see what happens.
it does like what I did with the first time. I have nothing wrong with doing that, but it just involves me. The only reason I'm doing this right now, I only do this if I have a good idea for how I know I want my characters to look. If I have no clue, I have no problem with letting Sudowrite generate them. But I want to show the difference, and hopefully it's profound enough for y'all to see it or pronounced enough for y'all to see the difference in generating your cast of characters with story information versus just generating with some brief character descriptions. So I've done it multiple ways. I have just generated the cast and gone through every single box and changed things up to the way that I like it, or gotten some ideas and turned around and gone back to synopsis and put those descriptions in here. It's whatever works for you. I'm love getting ideas from the AI and then refining my stuff. All right, so I'm going to tell it to Let's see how this works. I don't know if that'll actually work. And then we need I could actually ask Quick Chat to do these real quick for me, just so I have those descriptions in here. Which actually isn't a bad idea. So this is a little bit better. Let me cut that. Let's just scroll up real quick. Let's see how that works. Chat's good.
Yep. I was just saying that quick chat is also great when adding depth and strengthening up your existing characters.
All right.
Did good.
Yeah. I did copy. Make sure, double sure that I copied. All right, so let me just look through this real quick.
While you're looking through that, the reason she's making double, triple sure that she copied what Quick Chat gave her is because Quick Chat has session history, meaning while that Quick Chat box is open, you can scroll up and see all the other things you've said or that it has said. But as soon as you X out of that chat box, it poofs into the ether and you cannot get it back.
Did it copy it twice? It did.
Did you press paste twice?
Maybe I very well could have. All right, let's see. So we're going to keep Alaric. Actually, I'm going to keep that instructions too, just to make sure. Keep Alaric. I didn't name our female here, but Anagruff older professor. I think it just followed my it just followed my instructions to create those 3 characters. This is good. This is fine. Oops, synopsis. So I'm going to paste that into synopsis. All right, so let's generate our characters from this. Always imagine the Jeopardy theme playing while I'm waiting on my cast. Anybody
I
else?
like to cast people like did the bouncy thing.
Mm-hmm.
Super cute.
All right. So do y'all remember what in the world is that in chat?
Oh, you remember when doing fake freckles was the big thing?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's that.
Let me close out chat so I quit getting distracted here. All right, so y'all remember about a lark. We read through a few of his and it was talking about the guild, right? But again, this is the start of our story, so the guild hasn't been formed yet. That's the mistake. I guess I don't think I gave y'all enough of a premise here with this. Somebody makes a mistake with a magical spell, ends up binding a bunch of characters together. And these are all characters that are just horrible with spells. And by binding together, I don't mean like literally stuck together, skin to skin, but they cannot go within a certain distance from each other. Like room distance, that's how far they can go. That's it. So that's pretty much it. So that hasn't happened yet. That has to be the event. So now that we just generated with the character descriptions, let's see, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. So I'm not seeing anything about the story. No spoilers at all. Y'all let me know if y'all see something. Can be overly curious. I like that. Okay.
Make flaws and impressions did so good.
Yeah, I like that. And to me, that's the point, the major point. These just seem to go so much more into the actual character themselves versus the character's role in the story. That's really the only way I can put it as to why I prefer the descriptions instead. Because then when it generates, it is all about that character. What do they look like? How do they think? How do they act? All right, with friends, supportive, sometimes distracted. Like that.
As a side note, you said that the trait fields in that doc you shared are not up to date.
Not up to date, what?
They weren't up to date with everything that you're using currently. This is your sticky note to add in your current trait fields to that doc.
So I think the doc is up to date. My character thinks, I think I actually went there first to the document and updated it. And I'm pretty sure it's this because I got wording from you. So physical descriptions, let me see. Where's my physical description? Okay, so I got that updated. So yeah, I didn't update this habit one. And I wanted to do that. But everything, yeah, everything else is the same. I wanted to add in your voice one too that I forgot about. All right, so do y'all notice a difference in generating with story information versus not? Or are they pretty much the same for y'all and y'all thought that was a complete waste of time to go through that mess?
There was a massive difference. It was definitely, and as somebody who writes very, very character-centric, character-focused stories, knowing that going that route gives us it produces a card that's more focused on who that person is rather than how that person impacts or interacts with the story.
Thank you. You worded it so much better. That's the vibe I was getting. And yes, you'll see these some that, got left out. I could fill that in. Or I can just delete if I don't need it. Like if I know I don't want any love interest, delete that. Whatever I need here. Fill it in or rewrite stuff. All right, so let's check the next one real quick and then we're going to customize.
Before you go, now so you're drilling down on the main characters. What about your secondary characters? Do you have to do that, or you let Sudowrite handle that?
Well, I generate the whole cast at once. That's how I prefer to do it. So it's all of my characters here. Yep.
Wow.
I'd rather get all those ideas at once. That way I can just sit down and go through versus going into a flow of, let me work on this character. Let the AI generate. Oh, now let me fix this. To me, it's just a disjointed thing. I find I do better one whole step at a time, if that makes sense. So I let it generate everyone and then I go through everyone and make changes. Yeah, so I'm not saying any story information. So again, that's why I prefer to generate my cast of characters without story stuff. So my synopsis will just have, dang, it seemed like I went that far. My synopsis will just have brief character descriptions. And of course, if you need more than the 800 word limit, use brain dump. So I would just leave my synopsis empty and I would have these descriptions inside brain dump if I needed more. Same thing can go for your settings. If y'all know y'all have some settings that you really want it to come out this way, you could put your settings in there too. Go ahead and generate those from your world building context. And then I can turn around. Generally, I have already generated my synopsis and I can just paste my synopsis back in. I don't think I actually generated story stuff from here. No, I didn't. So I could just paste my synopsis back in here and generate additional characters if I need to, just one at a time. Let's see. Actually, did it do my professor? I don't know if it did our professor or not. So I'm going to actually put this, I'll just delete the synopsis since I know it's going to read brain dump. And I'll come here and I'm going to tell it to Rough old professor. Rough old professor. I don't want him to make him mean, so I'm gonna say he's kind, but tired of the stupidity. No, I'm just gonna say kind, just kind. Tries to be understanding. There we go. So now I can create that. And I have the story information in here, so now it understands, oh, he's dealing with a bunch of misfits that, get things wrong. But let's see. I wish you could collapse these all at once. Wait, did it just... That's our bully. Where's our professor? I don't think it generated it.
Right there, Professor Maximilian Grimsby.
Oh. Why did it pop in right there in the middle?
Listen, why does anything do anything? Keep you on your toes.
Maybe it's because I was collapsing, which would be an interesting little bug to report. Like maybe I had just anyways, all right. So let's see, constantly exasperated, teetering on the edge of frustration. Does anybody know, did it actually create this one beforehand? And I overlooked it?
I have no idea. Somebody re-roll the tape.
All right, I do like this though. When I generate my characters, one of the first things I do is go through this line of dialogue. I will go to ChatGPT. I tend to like ChatGPT first for the first step. You can use Quick Chat. However, I have noticed Quick Chat gets cut off in its responses sometimes. But my main prompt of what I like to do is I would copy those brief character descriptions I had in Synopsis and my story premise into ChatGPT and tell it, create a conversation between all of these characters, showing how each one would speak. That way I'm not having to mess with one at a time. So that gives me a good foundation I can start from, and then I can start focusing on one at a time from there. So then I can take, if I like what ChatGPT gives me for characters, I can just put that line in there. If I don't like it, I can come to Quick Chat and refine it or stay there in ChatGPT. However you want to work, whatever AI you want to work with, they both do it. Like I said, I just have noticed Quick Chat getting cut off with me before. But I like to have a conversation between all of my characters. I don't care what they're talking about. The point is just for me to see how they all sound all at once. So I can say, hey, no, these all sound the same. You make them different. But that's one of my main things is getting this line of dialogue nailed for each character. It has to 100% be a line of dialogue that I imagine that character saying. That is one of my very first steps. And I'm telling you, it makes a huge difference. Let's talk customizing. So this is my normal template. I tend to write dark mafia romance. That's my main genre. Let me briefly go over the basics here for anybody unaware. So in this customize button that I went to, customize, click it. It's going to start with 4 or 5 defaults. The defaults I think are background, physical description, dialogue, and personality, I think. So it'll have 4 default things. You can delete them if you want the X mark. I can move them around. I keep this character's current emotional state up at the top because this is the box that's going to be updated as I progress through my story. So I don't have to scroll all the way down in each card. Instead, I can just pop it right open and I know that first box, I need to update it with any changes. And you would scroll all the way down to add traits. So for instance, I'm going to add a trait here because we didn't do any fantasy stuff since it's tailored to my contemporary romance. So, oh, I actually have something right here. Okay. I bet you this is from my elemental thing. Yeah, that's from my elemental. So I'm actually going to delete that. What is this character's? What's the adeptness? Adeptness means how good you are, right?
Yes. But now I want to call it adeptitude.
That does sound better. Are they proficient in certain? So what I'm doing right now is I'm giving the AI something for it to think about. I could have just left it at, hey, what is their, magical ability level? But now I want it to think about certain things to give it variety. So I'm going to say, are they proficient in certain type of spells? Are they better at potions than spells? Actually, are they better at potions or spells? I'll leave it at that. But
Can you copy that? Since it's a new one.
There you go. Okay. I'm going to add a couple more maybe to do customizing for this story. How much time we got left? Oh, we're close to the top of the hour. Oh, we don't need, I was thinking we needed to cover world building, but we don't. Oops. World building's next week, I think. All right. So 2 options down here. If I click this save new defaults for you new people, this means if I save this new defaults, that means anytime I open up my customized characters in any project, these save across projects. So you don't have to create a new one every time you open up a project. Save new defaults means anytime I open this up, this will now be saved as that default. But hey, I'm just creating it for this story, right? I don't want it saved to all of my projects going forward. I don't need it. So I can just add it to my current characters right here. And it says it updated them. So let's go look at this one. And there we go. So it updated. And then I can just fill it in and I could actually give instructions. This would probably be time, the part where I would actually get more of an idea of my characters. Do I want this one forever, always setting things on fire when they do a spell? I always think of like Seamus. Yeah, it's Seamus in Harry Potter, always blowing things up accidentally. Do I
Thought that
want,
was Neville.
what's that?
I thought that was Neville.
No, Neville was told to get with Seamus
Oh yeah.
up the bridge. Spoiler alert.
Sorry. Nobody listened to that.
So this would be the point where I would want to give some instructions before I filled all of these in, just to make my cast unique. I think it would be nice to have, could actually go to quick chat again. Hey, give me some, I might copy this and say, hey, give me some, trying to think of the wording. Give me some unique flaws, blunders, I don't know, something along those lines for each of my characters. And then also make one, make them really good at something, but maybe make that something that they're really good at, almost like a useless thing. Like one is awesome at sweeping the floors. How's that going to help, But that's where I would take some time to do things like that.
Like magical strengths and weaknesses.
There you go. Love it when people can just take your rambling and actually make sense of it.
I brain your brain.
All right, so again, now if I go to, I'm just going to jump into another thing right here. So I'm going to go to my characters, click customize, and you see this is that old one that I had deleted. That new one that I added with the adeptness is not here because I only added to current characters. All right, so let me look at our story again. Okay. Something else you could always do. I like doing this actually with my world building cards more, but you could do it to Bruce's point. Let's say I have no idea how I want these characters to be. I could do some traits just so it's generated all at once, again, to give me those ideas all at once. So I could be, what, or no, I want to say list 5 spell, list 5 spell mishaps this character causes. So I could customize this. Again, if I thought about it after the fact, I would add the current characters, fill it in, but hopefully you'll get in the habit of customizing before you generate your cast. That way for each one, it would do that. And I can do several things. So in that document, I just wrote a book. It's not released yet. But this book right here and this book I'm working on now is character questions. And I never really thought about how little things like this can help me with characters. But I tell y'all, doing this writing prompts book, I got 3 new story ideas out of a chapter. And it's these little itty bitty prompt things that just make you stop and think. Same thing with these character questions things. I tried to include a couple for y'all to play with. Hopefully y'all enjoy them. But I started thinking this is just a really awesome way for us to get to know our characters a lot deeper, especially for those that are going to be ongoing in a series. You know, you may not want to spend this time if it's just a one book character. That may not be your jam. Hey, go for it, whatever. But if it's going to be a several book series and that's your main character across all of those books, spend some time thinking about these. So I could actually copy this in, and I actually wanted to do this in my mafia thing. So I'm going to do it in one of my mafia ones. Since we're not looking at story information, I don't have to worry about keeping it clean.
Moo,
What? Yes, ma'am.
just pointing out those prompts reworded to be trait field titles would make incredible trait field titles or
That's
trait.
that's actually what I was fixing to do. But I wanted to see actually how it did listing out these 5 things real quick on this one. So does everybody understand the difference between saving when you're customizing, save new defaults versus add to characters? Again, add to characters is just going to add to generated characters. If you have not generated your cast yet, you don't have any character cards here, that add to current characters button is useless for you because there's no characters to add to. But if you have your main template and you don't really want this trait to get added, you know, you could generate with that main template, then just add in those extra fields and just use the add to characters, add to current characters. But save new defaults if you know you want that field in there going forward for all your projects. Must press button. Okay, so I did do the 5. During a demonstration of simple levitation. Oh, are we in the professor? Oops. Bad one to do that on since it's mishaps. Anyways, accidentally causes all the desks in the classroom to float up. Okay. Inadvertently summons an aggressive swarm of magical bees. Okay. I did it on the wrong character, but at least I did the list good. All right, so let me go into, let me see if I have one that's, no. I thought I
While,
had one that was a little tame. Go ahead.
sorry, I was just going to say while you're scrolling, when you add new fields to current characters, if you arrange those new fields in your list in that pop-up box, that customized box, it will not add those fields in that particular order. It will to the existing characters. It will always put them at the bottom of the card.
All right, say that one more time. If I add a new trait,
Yeah, so if you add a new trait, call it, you know, I don't, whatever, perfect. And then you move that up above family.
so picky.
You put add to current characters.
Mhm.
That will not appear above family. It
Instead
will
of
appear at the bottom of the current characters cards.
okay, gotcha. Now, if you add it and move it before you generate those characters, because you're saving new defaults for the template and you generate then, it will be in the right order. Or has anybody come across a bug where it doesn't change at the last minute?
I haven't.
Okay.
So that's
All right, let's, where's my, okay. So I wanted to do this in my Mafia one because y'all know me enough to know that they're buttholes. So I thought this would kind of be some contrary stuff. And since they're all, I write dark, so there aren't really lines they won't cross. I'm interested in seeing what lines the AI says they won't cross. I'm not going to do those. Y'all can play with those if y'all want. All right, so I am going to add to current characters. It updated, so let's go to our butt head here. Scroll down. Oh, that's the wrong one. Shouldn't even, I don't even need that. My bad. Am I the only one that has trouble seeing what line is what?
on the character cards.
Yeah. Okay, here we go.
No, yeah. In
Nope.
the dark modes, absolutely. And then especially if you have a lot going on and your field titles are longer than like a couple words, it does get a little wall of texty.
Yeah, but James, you notice how fast I scrolled, right? I was scrolling as fast as I could.
We still saw.
Oh, did y'all really? Sorry, I did not mean to offend anyone. Did anybody
Oh
leave?
no, I don't think anybody else saw, but I knew to look.
Okay, so let's see. Something, he's our mob boss. He's the main guy here, and like he does not care about anyone but his brother, basically. Okay, so despite his ruthless exterior, has a soft spot for animals, particularly stray cats. I do not see that about him. And now I kind of like it though. Okay. Most mundane task. Me too, Zeticus. Finds an odd sense of satisfaction organizing his collection of firearms. That's like my daddy. Okay. Repetitive act of cleaning, disassemble. I would actually see this for Dalton in this story because he's like their bodyguard and he's a sniper, a former sniper. I actually see this one for Dalton and we'll probably switch that up for him and generate a new one for Ethan. Draws a firm line at harming children. Yes, absolutely. I love it. Okay, actually, what do y'all think? Is this something that these questions actually something that would work good for y'all's stories? Help y'all see a little bit more?
I mean,
Yes.
no, I'm the only one chiming in, but because I chime in the quickest. But yes, I love them so much.
All right, well, y'all play around. There's a couple more. So let's try this. We mentioned things can change, right? I'm wondering what the best way to do this. Either give this prompt versus the alternate to quick chat and compare, or just do it here. We'll just do it here. So this is the one I said I hadn't updated. Where is it? So what do I have that's different? I have this one much more nuanced. Okay. So we're going to actually copy that. Let's just fill this in. So this is just the plain one. The original, generate a unique and subtle habit, quirk, or mannerism. And y'all, if y'all have any questions, please feel free to ask, because I'm just going to otherwise keep tinkering. I love these rabbit holes with the cards. I love playing with them. Tap his fingers rhythmically. Oh, he is actually one I saw doing that, and I think I actually wrote his opening scene with him tapping his fingers on the desk while he was thinking about how to kill somebody. So it does fit, but AI does like to do people, have people tap their fingers a lot. I would love some bacon. All right, so let me do this real quick. I want us to be able to compare side by side. So I'm just going to copy this. All right. So now I'm going to give it instructions. Rewrite. Make the habit something sinister. Let's see what that does. Has a sinister habit. Lordy. Okay. Not what I was going for. If y'all want this document, I can give it to y'all, but I don't think it'll be worth it. I just want to have them side by side. All right, so now let's do this. Oh, you said it won't take effect, so I do actually need to delete this one first. Where's it at? Where's it at? Shoot. Sorry. Okay, let's delete that. I can just add it here. So now I'm going to change the prompt to that more nuanced one. Not sure how many words that is. Let's see, how many words? 35. So you know holds at least 35 words. But I want to say it was 300 characters. All right, and now let's fill it in. No instructions. Oh, so this one gave it, okay. I don't remember if that's what I was going for when I did it, but all right. Okay, so the first one, just very generic, but also what I saw him doing as a habit. Prompted with sinister. I don't like that. And then with the revised trait, so that's 2 sentences. When deep in thought, rubs his thumb against the edge of his jawline. When stressed or emotional, clenching, unclenching. Yeah, that's all generic. It gave more, and I like that it gave more for different situations, but generic. Stacy.
I didn't do it.
What is yours?
Unique, tactile, no and. Tactile, no. No
What?
comma. It's
Why
okay.
can't I have a comma? You're supposed to grammatically have a comma.
You cannot. I'm so sorry.
Yes,
Illegal.
okay.
You're not turning in an English paper.
Yeah.
I will be adding that comma later. Okay, unique, tactile.
Unique, tactile, habit, or quirk.
Okay. Definitely going with the knife again. I don't want that for him, but but hopefully y'all see the difference that different things can do. So if you can, I like to use the instructions. Let's see what we can rewrite. See what that does. I had one that he liked to flip his knife. The one I said we had to make him darker, flipped his knife, other with coin flips. Another one played with a cigar cutter. I don't know what's going on. It doesn't seem to be generating that good of traits right now.
Maybe it's also having a tired Saturday.
Maybe so. All right, so I know it's over time. But going back to our Guild of Misfits, just looking, let's see. What would y'all do, our expert users? What are some things looking at this story premise that you would want to add to your character box? Not world building, but characters.
Wait, what?
I always add backstory to be included. Like like when
I think I have backstory. Let's see.
no backstory that's specific for that particular chapter. Like I tend to
Oh,
add specific
gotcha.
backstory. Yeah, to because I want the backstory to be revealed throughout the book instead of just giving a whole blurb of this is what this person is. So I tend to add unique backstory to include in chapter. Not in all chapters, but in chapter I feel that is necessary.
Okay.
Like if they go to this restaurant and this restaurant is very special to them because this is something a restaurant that they used to go to when they were like a kid with their father who's now like deceased, and every time they go in it's this like nostalgic emotional connection type thing, so stuff like that.
Gotcha. I'm trying to think of how you could do a brainstorming character card like I do in the world building, but it would require so much revising. That's why I'd be happy if we could have the different things, a template for your main character, a template for secondary, like we do in world building where we have all these options. I want that for characters.
Yes, please.
Yeah, agreed.
I have different trait fields that I think are important for main characters versus secondary characters versus antagonists. The things that are important for my main characters and the things that are important for my antagonists are often two very different things.
Yeah. Same. I
That
know
is
I
very
care about some things for the little people. Another thing you could think about, so for instance, let's just say if this was a romance book. I've been meaning to add it in here and I keep forgetting, so I'm actually going to do that right now.
Love language. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot the rest of my prompt. How?
I don't see your prompt, but I will say I have a trait field called love language, and it understands it well.
Mm-hmm. And this works so well with romances, y'all. But my prompt, this is close to how my prompt is. I just have to see if I can find the original wording. Because the second part was something like, I can't remember if I said how can the love interest use this in the story? Or if I just said how can it be used in the story? It was one of those two. So play around with that. But that's one I would definitely want to save as a default. Right, so love language works great for romances. For magical stuff, it was kind of like that one I had and deleted. I thought I deleted that. Their special ability, usually I want to know, okay, what is their magical ability? What's the cost of it? But again, check out these because, let me see, was it this one? No. Oh, I know one I wanted to try too. We'll try that real quick. There's one in here though with some magical stuff. Maybe it was the magic blueprint. Yes, these. So the magic blueprint template, I actually like this one a lot. This is one I would probably even do in my world building template, do as a world building template. And then when I had it generate for that world building template, instead I would say generate this for so-and-so character and see how well that would work. You can kind of do one in general, but I do love this one and all the questions that it asks. I wanted to do this though, because I played with this somewhere. I don't remember if I did it in Sudowrite or chat, and I really liked it. So I'm going to put that in there. Add to current characters. And let's go to Alaric, our main guy. So I'm asking it to create a character arc and identify the key events. So let's see how it does. And unless you'll have questions or want to see something while using my credits, this is pretty much it. Okay, begins as a curious but reckless teenager. Finds the Guild of Misfits. Now, if I had more story information, because again, I just had that very brief synopsis or brain dump stuff. If I had more events, I think it would pull those actual events in because that's what it did for me when I tested it. But right now it's just saying, key events like narrowly escaping monsters instead of an actual, oh, they get caught in a cave with a troll. So I'm not crazy about it, but I think it would be better with detailed story information. Let's see. How much do I have here? Clean story, so I don't have to worry about scrolling that crazy. Oh. But of course, we'd have to generate it all. Let's try it. So it's my credits, so save and generate my cast. What is here? Okay. That's fine. We'll go with that. because you do need your story information here for that one trait. So that is actually one you would probably want to rewrite after you had your story information in the synopsis if you were doing that process of only having brief character descriptions there. For our triple X rated type characters in books. All right, let's see what it did for her stuff. And it went crazy. All right, let's see. Not crazy about it. So I need to see what I did different or if the AI is just having an off day. Because it did it so much better. Or where was that thing at? Let me come up here to quick chat. Hi, Gianna. All right, anybody have any questions or anything they want to see? Okay, this is more of what I saw whenever I was playing with it. Except he's not human. But yeah, this is more of what I got whenever I first started playing with that prompt. So hopefully you'll have better luck with it. All right, did anybody want this for any reason? Can I just chunk it? Okay, I'm chunking it. All right, last call for questions. I'll hang around for a few minutes, but I am going to go ahead and stop the recording. So thank y'all for hanging out with me and Stacy essentially for the past 2-3 hours. And hopefully we'll see y'all for the next class. Bye, everyone.